Welcome back to Weather Nation. We are tracking an Arctic chill across much of the United States today, and freezing temperatures could be dipping as far to the south as Florida. So joining me now is Felicia Crosby with the Hillsborough County to talk a little bit more about the warming shelters being opened up across the Tampa area, and really just to help keep people safe during this chill. So Felicia, thanks for joining us. How many shelters are being opened? Yeah, thank you so much. And how many of those shelters are being opened, and who exactly are they for?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. We actually have here in Hillsborough County 6 shelters, congregate shelters for adults that will be opening up tonight at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And for our families with small children, they will call a designated number and they will be going to a motel in the local area.
Okay, so what exactly is the criteria for these shelters to open?
Yes. So basically, what happens is we monitor the weather in partnership with our emergency management office and the National Weather Service. So when the temperature hits 40 degrees, including wind chill, for 2 consecutive hours between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. in Plant City, Florida, at the Plant City Airport, that's typically the coldest spot in Hillsborough County. And when it hits 40 degrees, including wind chill, for 2 consecutive hours, we know that we need to activate our cold weather shelter plan.
Okay, that makes sense. So based on those temperatures, that's when they normally open. Is it really early in the season for you to be opening these shelters in November?
It is. It's early in the month. Typically, we will activate the last week of November or the first week of December would be the earliest that we would activate. And typically in a year, outside of last year, which we activated 16 times, but before last year, typically we would activate maybe 8 to 10 times a year. This past season, we activated 16 times.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that puts things into perspective, especially happening this early in the season. Can you talk a little bit about how the cold actually impacts the communities there?
Yes. So Florida, definitely a mild weather state. Everybody thinks sunny.
Mhm.
The cold weather is not really that cold compared to other places in the United States. And so what happens is our unsheltered population, as well as people who do not have access to heat, tend to not layer or have the proper clothing. So that impacts that population. But also too, being able to navigate when you're unsheltered and you don't have anywhere to go and you're used to your routine to go to a cold weather shelter. Now they have to engage with partners or identify or find a place on their own to get to a cold weather shelter in the community. It impacts them, makes them more vulnerable due to their health. A lot of people on the streets are unsheltered. They're probably not seeking or getting the proper medical treatment. So whatever health conditions they have, it worsens that and makes it even harder for them. So the cold weather does not help the situation.
Absolutely. Do you have any tips or advice for people that are experiencing this Florida, I guess, winter weather?
Yes, definitely in this area, our Hillsborough County area, we have our community partners. We have 6 right now. We're looking for a couple of more community and faith-based partners to join us to be a cold weather shelter partner. And then also we work with our many outreach teams in the community with the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County Sheriff Department, Tampa Police Department, and several nonprofit organizations that are doing outreach in the community to drop off blankets to people who elect not to come in to shelter in our community.
All right. Is there anything else that people should know about these shelters, or any other, you kind of mentioned some of those resources, any other ways for people to stay warm?
What we try and do is, as part of our coordinated effort to address homelessness, we make every effort to meet people where they are. And I feel like our continuum of care system that is led by Tampa Hillsborough Homeless Initiative, we do a great job in partnering with them to make sure that we actually know where people are congregating that experience in homelessness. So we're going to be having those conversations. The outreach teams will be having those conversations with people to make every effort to try and do diversion first, meaning go back and stay with family and friends for a couple of days
Mhm.
or seek other traditional shelter options in our community. At this time, we work to make sure we maximize every shelter bed that's in our community, traditional homeless shelter bed that's in our community.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today to talk about the warming shelters. I did not think we'd be talking about wind chills in Florida November 10th, but I mean, the weather is just going to behave as it does.
Right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Felicia. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about what the weather is doing across the Southeast. I'm going to toss things over to meteorologist Jackie Brown.
Yeah, thanks so much. Great information right there. And there is a look at Atlanta, Georgia. And Atlanta, you have been seeing the very, very cool air as well. And so some of these lows since midnight. Atlanta, you saw a low of 35 degrees. Montgomery, 35. Nashville, 30. Little Rock, 29. And there's your 24-hour temperature change. In the last 24 hours, Atlanta 32 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. Montgomery 25 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. We still do have the freeze warnings that remain in place, including spots like Atlanta, Montgomery, Charleston, Wilmington, and Savannah, and the extreme cold alerts in place as far south as Florida. So again, you are just dealing with some very, very cold air that is in place tomorrow morning. 30 in Tallahassee, so below freezing. Mobile, 31 degrees. Atlanta, 26. It's going to be a very cold one. Now, as we take a look at the Viper radar, you can see we're not tracking snow in Florida, but we are seeing some of those snowflakes across portions of spots like Kentucky and Tennessee. You can see northern Georgia, West Virginia, and then the lake effect impacts across spots in Michigan and then New York as well. We'll talk more about the lake effect impacts and what you can expect all coming up. But up next, we do have your Eastern Regional forecast. That's 10 past the hour every hour.